So now the third group of the cells which are present in the blood are called as the blood platelets. These are having a different kind of function. So they are present in the blood, and the major problem, the major function of this is they are completely separate cells. And now the first thing is that they doesn't have the nucleus. They doesn't have the nucleus, and moreover they are disc-like projections. They are kind of disc-like projections which are present in the blood. So now the function of this is, see, when we fall down or something, the skin will be ruptured. In the same way, the blood vessels also will get ruptured. Because of that, the blood will keep on oozing out. So when the blood oozes out, if the blood continuously oozes out, then the person will die because of the severe loss of blood. So if there is severe loss of blood, the person will definitely die. Now, these blood platelets would not let that happen. So what they will do is, whenever there is injury and all these will come to the site of the injury, and they form as a wall. And now this wall, we call it as a clot. And because of this clot, the blood will not come out. The oozing of the blood will stop. Okay. The loss of blood will stop, and within no time this will get healed. That is how blood platelets will help our body to stop the flow of the blood outside, and also to clot it. That means this blood platelet has a special feature of clotting the blood. That is how the function of the blood platelets goes. Okay. So now a question may arise, right? Now, if it is a blood, when these blood platelets are over here, now why the blood is not clotting inside? There are RBC, there are WBC, there are blood platelets and all, and when the blood is coming out, it is getting clotted. But why this blood is not clotting inside the body, right? In the blood vessels, why this blood is not clotting? Now, the very important question, it's a very important question, because our blood will have a special substance which is called as heparin. And this heparin will prevent the clotting of blood in our blood vessels. So the blood will never clot, because heparin will never allow the blood to clot. So heparin is a substance which is present in the body, which will not allow the blood to clot at any cost. Okay, children. So now here we end the blood platelets. Now we are going to read about the blood groups.
Go.
So now the next topic is blood groups. So here we can say that there are 4 blood groups. Why these are divided into 4 blood groups? The reason is, see, even there are relatives to us, even there are some of our siblings and all, nobody's blood is similar to the other. See, your brother's blood group may be different, your mother's blood group may be different, and your father's blood group may be different. So some of your relatives, if you have seen, their blood groups will be different. Some of them will match, some of them will not match. So basing on that, Carl Landsteiner, he is a scientist here. His name is Carl Landsteiner. He is a German doctor. He discovered the blood groups, and basing on their factors, he categorized them into 4 different groups. One is, there are people with A blood group. Okay. And now you can find people with the B blood group. Some of them you'll have the AB blood group, and some of them are with O blood group. So there is A blood group, there is B blood group, and there is AB blood group, and there is O blood group. So if you take these 4 different blood groups, out of them, AB blood group, now let me tell you one thing. B blood group cannot give blood to the A, and A cannot give blood to B. What is the... Now we'll come to the blood groups, right? So in the blood groups, we have seen that these blood groups are discovered by Carl Landsteiner. He's a German doctor. And he discovered blood groups. One is A, second one is B, third one is AB, fourth one is O. So the even same family members will have different blood groups. Your relatives will have different blood groups. Some of them might have A blood group, some of them will have B, some will have AB, and some will have O. Not only that, it is also considered even the rhesus factor is also considered. If the rhesus factor is there, it will be A positive. If there is no rhesus factor, it will be A negative. In the sense, B positive or B negative, AB positive or AB negative, O positive or O negative. So like this, you can also divide them into positives and negatives. Now coming to the AB blood group, A, O, B and O, out of them, AB blood group are called as the universal recipients. They are called as universal recipients. You know why they are called as universal recipients? Because they can get the blood from any of these. They can receive blood from A, B and O. All these three blood groups can give them blood. They can accept anybody's blood group. That's why they are called as universal recipients. They are called as universal recipients. And now coming to the O, the people with O blood group are called as the universal donors. Universal donors. And why they are called as universal donors? Because they can donate blood to AB or A or O. They can donate blood to any blood group. That's why they are called as the universal donors. So now all these blood groups are discovered by whom? Carl and Steiner. How many blood groups are there? A, B, AB and O. Basing on the rhesus factor, we have A positive and A negative, B positive and B negative, AB positive and AB negative, O positive and O negative. And one more thing is that people with AB blood group are called as universal recipients. Why they are called as universal recipients? Because they can receive blood from any blood group. And O are called as the universal donors. Why they are called as universal donors? Because they can donate blood to any blood group. That's why they are called as universal donors. Okay. And now one more thing, we'll discuss this later when the school starts. We'll do this experiment also. There's a lab activity here, but that will be done only in the lab. And when the school starts, we'll go ahead with that. A cannot give blood to B. B cannot receive blood from A. But A can receive blood from A blood group, B can receive from B blood group. Why? Okay children, when you come to the blood groups, I have taken the blood group A here. Blood group A will have the antigen A. What do you have? You have the antigen A. So any blood group you take, there will be antigen and antibodies. Okay, in some blood groups, antigens are absent. In some blood groups, antibodies are absent. But whereas here, if you take the A blood group, what we have is the antigen A, and here what we have is the antibody for antigen B. So don't read it as antibody B, it is wrong. You have to read it as antibody for antigen B. Okay, now here is a person called as Ravi. We'll take the example of a person called as Ravi. Okay. And again, there is a person called as Shiva. Okay, children, I have taken the example of Ravi and Shiva. So, Ravi has the A blood group and Shiva also has the A blood group. Okay. So, now here, Ravi has antigen A. There will be always a fight between the antigen and antibodies. If the antigen and antibody are same, okay, if the antigen and antibody are same, there will be no problem at all. Okay. So here antigen is for A. Antigen A, and here we have the antibody for antigen B. So now here Shiva got accident. He met with an accident, and now Ravi is giving blood to Shiva. Okay. So now what happens? Now when he is giving the blood, his blood group is also A. So now this antigen goes inside A. Okay. Now what is this here? Antibody antibody for antigen B, but whereas here there is no antigen B. If there is antigen B, what happens is both will fight together. Okay, this antibody which is for antigen B will go and fight with the antigen B, and then there will be agglutination, there will be clumps, and there will be clot. Okay, and the whole blood will get clot, and then the person will die. So if it is antigen A here, and now antibodies for only antigen B, so there is no antigen B here. That's why there is no problem at all. But whereas if I take, and Shiva is of B blood group, okay, and then antigen will be B, and then antibody is for antigen A. Fine. Now if this person is giving blood to him, or if he is taking the blood from him, not an issue at all. Now when the blood is administered, now what is here? Antigen A. Now what is in this blood group? There is antibody for antigen A. So once this blood comes into his blood, into his body, then immediately there is antigen A. No, antibody recognizes that some antigen A has come into the body, because its own antigen is only B. Other than that, if any antigen comes inside, these antibodies will not stay calm. Their work is to go and fight. So within no time, because this is antibody for antigen A, and what has come inside? Antigen A has come inside. Immediately these antibodies will start fighting with the antigen A, and within no time what happens? Clots will be formed, and immediately the person will die, because the blood flow will be interrupted. There will be no proper blood flow, and within no time he will die. That's why everybody cannot give blood to everybody. So A blood group can give blood to A, B can give blood to B, but A cannot give blood to B, or B cannot give blood to A. Now there is a difference. There is a difference in. So now coming to the AB blood group. Okay, you can see here antigens are present. Antigens are present here, but there are no antibodies. There are no antibodies. These are called as, what they are called as? Universal recipients, because if they receive the blood, there are no antibodies to fight with them. Okay, if there is an antibody A or antibody for antigen B, definitely they will fight with them. But what happened here? There are no antibodies to fight with them. So this blood group, they can receive blood from A, B or O. It's not an issue at all for them, because they doesn't have the antibodies in them. Okay, that's why they are called as universal recipients. Now coming to the blood group O. Blood group O. Now you can see here, this blood group doesn't have antigens at all. This blood group doesn't have antigens, but they have antibody A for antigen A, antibody for antigen B. So now these are called as universal donors. Why they are called as universal donors? Because they can give the blood to any person. They can give the blood to any blood group, because they don't have the antigens. Now if there are antibodies, see here there is antibody for antigen B, here antibody for antigen A, here there is antigen, there are no antibodies here. So because they don't have antigens, if this blood is given to any of the blood groups, now there is no antigen. There is no antigen, so that some antibody will come and fight with them. So that is the reason why these are called as the universal donors, and whereas this blood group, AB blood group, are called as the universal recipients. Is it clear? So A blood group, they will have antigen A and antibody for antigen B. B blood group will have antigen B and antibody for antigen A. And here AB blood group will have antigen A and antigen B, but there will be no antibodies. And here O blood group, you have no antigens, no antigen A or no antigen B, but whereas antibody for antigen A and antibody for antigen B are present in it. Okay, so this is about the blood groups, and we will discuss this later in the class after doing an experiment in the lab activity. Okay, so if any kind of doubts, you can write to me personally. So Now this is about the blood groups. So hope you all understood RBC, WBC, blood platelets and also blood groups. Okay guys, see you tomorrow.